People that arrived in the Native American Garden of Eden had never seen such an uncorrupted land. Those first Europeans saw new geography, new plants, and new animals, but one of the hardest things to understand was some of the ways of life of the original people. Of all the ways that seemed strange, one of the first to be targeted by the Europeans for elimination was the Two-Spirit tradition. This tradition was among all the Native American cultures. All Native American societies acknowledged 3 to 5 gender roles: female, male, Two-Spirit female, Two-Spirit male, and one we would call today transgendered. The term Two-Spirit from the Ojibwe language is used universally. Each tribe has their own specific term, but there was a need for a universal term that the general population could all understand. And this is it, Two Spirits. The Native American belief is that some people are born with the spirits of both genders and express them so perfectly as if they have two spirits in one body. Some tribes believe that before a child is born, its soul stands before the Creator, to either reach for the bow and arrows or a basket. Of course, the arrows indicate the role of a man and the basket that of a female. When the child would reach for the gender corresponding hand, sometimes the Creator would switch hands, and the child would have chosen the opposite gender's role, and therefore casting its lot in life. In keeping with European prejudices held against natives, the Spanish Catholic monks destroyed most of the Aztec codex to eradicate traditional native beliefs and history, including those that told of the Two-Spirit tradition. In 1530, the Spanish explorer Cabeza de Vaca wrote in his diary of seeing soft native Indian males in Florida tribes dressing and working as women. Just as with all other aspects of the European regard for Indians, gender variance was not tolerated. Europeans and eventually Euro-Americans demanded all people conform to their prescribed two gender roles. Native Americans traditionally assigned no moral gradient to love or sexuality. A person was judged for their contributions to their tribe and for their character. It was also a custom for parents to not interfere with nature, and so among some tribes, children wore gender-neutral clothes until they reached an age where they decided for themselves which path they would walk, and then the appropriate ceremonies followed. The Two-Spirit people in pre-contact Native America was highly revered, and families that included them were considered lucky. Indians believed that a person who was able to see the world through the eyes of both genders at the same time was a gift from the Creator. Traditionally, Two-Spirit people held positions within their tribes and earned them great respect, such as medicine men, medicine women, shamans, visionaries, mystics, conjurers, keepers of the tribe's oral traditions, conferers of lucky names for children and adults. It has been said that Crazy Horse received his name from a two-spirited conferer. They were nurses during war expeditions, cooks, matchmakers, and marriage counselors. In addition to adopting orphan children and tending to the elderly, they were also jewelry and feather regalia makers, potters, weavers, singers, and artists. Female-bodied two-spirits were hunters, warriors engaged in what was typically men's work, and by all accounts were always fearless. Traditionally, Native Americans closely associate two-spirited people with having high-functioning intellects. Rather than being social dead-enders as within our culture today, traditionally they were allowed to fully participate within traditional tribal social structures. I'll leave the last words to the late Lakota actor, native rights activist, and American Indian Movement co-founder, Russell Means. He said, "In my culture, we have people who dress half man and half woman. Winkte, we call them in our language. If you are Winkte, that is an honorable term, and you are a special human being among my nation and all Plains people. We consider you a teacher of our children and are proud of what and who you are."